The Intern. Chapter 1. In the heart of Silicon Valley, nestled among sleek glass buildings that mirrored the ambition of their inhabitants, stood the headquarters of QuantumCore, a beacon of innovation in the artificial intelligence industry. At the helm of its research and development department was Clarke, a man whose name was synonymous with the cutting-edge advancements that had put QuantumCore on the map. Clarke wasn't just the head of R&D, he was its heart, driving his team with a passion that was palpable in every project they undertook. Clarke was in his mid-30s, with a demeanor that balanced approachability and authority. His leadership style was not about issuing commands from a high-rise office, but about being in the trenches with his team, solving problems shoulder to shoulder with them. This morning, like many others, he arrived before the sun, his silhouette a solitary figure against the backdrop of the awakening city. QuantumCore's office buzzed with energy as the day progressed, a testament to the vibrant culture Clarke and his colleagues had cultivated. The open floor plan encouraged collaboration, with teams huddled around screens, animated discussions taking place at every turn. The walls were adorned with posters of quantum computers and neural networks, interspersed with motivational quotes from tech visionaries. As Clarke made his way to his workstation, his path intersected with Mia Chen, his assistant. Mia was the epitome of efficiency and dedication. Her petite frame belied the strength of her presence in the team. She moved with purpose, her eyes always reflecting a mind at work, considering the next challenge, the next solution. "Morning, Clarke," Mia greeted him, her voice carrying a warmth that softened the formality of their roles. The team's already buzzing about the new algorithm challenges. And the execs want an update on Project Helix by noon. Clarke smiled, appreciating Mia's knack for cutting through the noise to what mattered. "Thanks, Mia. Let's set up a brief before the meeting. And how's the new encryption model coming along?" "Promising, but we're hitting a computational bottleneck. I think with a bit more tweaking." Mia's voice trailed off as she caught the spark of interest in Clarke's eyes. They delved into a technical discussion, their conversation a dance of ideas and possibilities. As they talked, the topic inevitably shifted to QuantumCore's rival, Neurotech. The competition between the two giants was the stuff of industry legend, each pushing the other to greater heights of innovation and market share. "Mia, have you seen Neurotech's latest release? They're claiming a 40% improvement in machine learning efficiency," Clarke said, his tone a mix of skepticism and intrigue. Mia nodded, her expression thoughtful. "I saw that. But remember, it's not just about the numbers. It's about how we apply our technology to solve real problems. That's where QuantumCore shines. We're not just racing, we're leading with purpose." Clarke looked at Mia, her conviction reinforcing his own. "You're right. It's why we do what we do. Let's keep our focus on making technology work for humanity, not just for the sake of competition." Their conversation was a microcosm of the ethos at QuantumCore, a blend of ambition, competition, and a deeper mission to harness AI for the greater good. As Clarke and Mia parted ways to start their day, the air was charged with a sense of purpose. QuantumCore wasn't just participating in the race for AI supremacy, it was setting the pace, guided by leaders who believed in the power of technology to transform the world. Clarke turned his attention to the sea of challenges and opportunities that lay ahead, ready to navigate the promising horizon with his team. His journey, marked by innovation, ethics, and personal growth, was just beginning. Chapter 2. The following week introduced a new dynamic to the bustling environment of QuantumCore. Among the latest cohort of interns, one stood out, not just for her academic accolades, which were impressive, but for the quiet determination that seemed to underpin her every action. Emily Stone, a recent graduate with honors in computer science, joined Clarke's team with a blend of excitement and trepidation that was common among new recruits, but seemed more pronounced in her. Emily's first few days were a whirlwind of onboarding sessions, introductions, and an avalanche of information that left her feeling both exhilarated and overwhelmed. Despite her achievements, the transition from academic excellence to the practical challenges of QuantumCore's cutting-edge projects was daunting. Clarke, ever attentive to the pulse of his team, noticed Emily's struggle. He saw in her the same spark of potential that had ignited his own career years ago, a raw talent and passion for technology that, with the right guidance, could flourish. One morning, as the team gathered for their daily stand-up meeting, Clarke announced a new mentorship initiative, pairing experienced team members with interns. Mentorship, he began, is about more than just guiding someone through their tasks. It's about building a foundation for future leaders, sharing our passion, and fostering a culture of curiosity and innovation. After the meeting, Clarke approached Emily. "Emily, I've seen your work, and I've been impressed by your dedication. I'd like to offer you some additional support as you navigate your first project here. How does that sound?" Emily's eyes lit up, a mix of relief and enthusiasm washing over her. "That would be amazing, Clarke. I've been feeling a bit out of my depth, but I'm eager to learn and contribute." Over the next few weeks, their mentorship sessions became a highlight of Emily's and Clarke's schedules. Clarke shared insights into QuantumCore's approach to problem-solving, the importance of teamwork, and the ethical considerations that underpinned their projects. Emily, in turn, brought fresh perspectives and questions that challenged Clarke to think differently. Their discussions often extended beyond the confines of the office, with meetings in coffee shops or walks in the nearby park, where ideas seemed to flow more freely. It was during these informal sessions that their relationship deepened, evolving from mentor-mentee to a true friendship. They shared stories of their lives outside work, their aspirations, and the challenges that confronted them. Clarke saw Emily's confidence grow with each passing day. She became more vocal during team meetings, her contributions reflecting a growing understanding of the complex landscape of AI development. Her project, an innovative approach to data encryption, showed promise, and Clarke made sure her efforts were recognized by the team. Emily worked late into the evening, meticulously reviewing lines of code. Clarke, about to leave for the day, paused by her desk. "Remember, Emily, it's important to find balance. The work we do is demanding, but it's the passion and creativity we bring to it that truly makes a difference. Don't lose sight of that." Emily looked up, her expression a mixture of exhaustion and determination. "I won't, Clarke. Thank you for believing in me." As Clarke left the office, the lights of QuantumCore dimming behind him, he reflected on the impact of mentorship. It wasn't just about guiding the next generation, it was about learning from them too. In helping Emily find her place, he had rediscovered a part of his own passion for innovation and the importance of nurturing talent in shaping the future of technology. Chapter 3. In the vibrant hub of QuantumCore's office, the buzz of innovation and collaboration filled the air, with Project Genesis at the forefront of everyone's mind. This ambitious project, spearheaded by Clarke Reed, was set to catapult the company into a new era of artificial intelligence, positioning it as a frontrunner in a high-stakes race against its closest competitor, Neurotech. The heart of this competition was not just creativity and innovation, but the strategic decisions that would either secure QuantumCore's leadership in the industry or leave it trailing in Neurotech's wake. At the core of Genesis's potential triumph were the advanced processors that would power its sophisticated algorithms. The choice between Next-Tech solutions and core-gen technologies had become a pivotal discussion, crucial enough to warrant a dedicated meeting with QuantumCore's core team, including Mia Chen, Clarke's assistant and strategic advisor. Her insights into operational logistics and project management had made her an indispensable part of the strategic planning process. "The processors we choose will not only determine our project's success, but also how we stand in our ongoing competition with Neurotech," Clarke began, addressing the team with a seriousness that underscored the weight of their decision. Both Next-Tech solutions and core-gen technologies offer compelling advantages, but we need to consider which aligns best with our goals and the challenges we face against Neurotech. Mia, leaning forward, interjected with a practical perspective. Nextech's processors are known for their speed, which could give us the edge we need in raw computational power. However, their energy consumption and heat output could pose significant challenges for our infrastructure, not to mention the sustainability concerns. Clarke nodded, appreciating Mia's concise summary. Exactly, Mia. And on the other side, CoreGen Technologies presents an intriguing option with their innovative architecture. It could not only meet our performance needs, but also provide a more sustainable solution, aligning with our long-term vision for Project Genesis and its environmental impact. The discussion shifted to the strategic implications of their choice, with Mia highlighting the importance of long-term support and compatibility with existing systems. Whichever option we choose needs to seamlessly integrate with our current setup and support our development roadmap. We can't afford setbacks, especially with Neurotech breathing down our necks. The right decision here is crucial for staying ahead in the race. The team concurred that a series of stress tests and performance evaluations for both Nextech and CoreGen processors were the next logical step. These tests would not only assess the processor's capabilities, but also how they would integrate into the broader architecture of Project Genesis. As the meeting drew to a close, the weight of the decision loomed large over the team. The choice between Nextech Solutions and CoreGen Technologies was more than a matter of technical preference. It was a strategic move in the chess game against Neurotech. Sound decisions were essential, with each move scrutinized not just within QuantumCore, but by the entire industry, eager to see which company would take the lead in the AI revolution. Mia stayed back as the team dispersed, her expression thoughtful. "Clarke, this decision could define our future," she said, a statement that resonated with the gravity Clarke felt. "We'll make the right choice," he responded, his determination a reflection of the collective ambition and responsibility that Project Genesis embodied. Clarke and Mia reviewed the data once more, aware that the path they chose now would set the course for QuantumCore's future. In the race against Neurotech, every decision was crucial, and the processor choice for Project Genesis was a cornerstone upon which their competitive edge rested. Chapter 4. As the weeks progressed, the dynamic within QuantumCore's R&D team subtly shifted. Emily Stone, once a fresh-faced intern grappling with the complexities of her new environment, had seamlessly integrated into the fabric of the team. Her involvement in Project Genesis, while initially overwhelming, soon became the crucible through which her talents were refined and her potential fully realized. Clarke Reed watched this transformation with a mix of pride and apprehension, aware of the delicate balance he was navigating. The mentorship that had blossomed between Clarke and Emily evolved into a partnership of sorts, with their collaboration on Project Genesis blurring the lines between professional guidance and personal connection. Their work sessions often extended beyond office hours, driven by a shared commitment to the project's success, but also by an unacknowledged enjoyment of each other's company. It was during one of these late evenings, as they pored over lines of code in a near-empty office, that Emily ventured beyond the technical discussions that usually dominated their interactions. "Clarke," she began, hesitance in her voice, "do you ever feel isolated by the responsibilities you carry here?" Her question caught Clarke off guard, prompting him to consider his own experiences in a new light. He shared, more openly than he intended, the pressures of leadership and the loneliness that often accompanied his role. Emily listened intently, her empathy evident, and in that moment, a new level of understanding was reached between them. However, this vulnerability also sowed the seeds of complication, as both began to navigate the fine line between professional camaraderie and personal closeness. Meanwhile, Mia Chen, Clarke's assistant, observed the changing dynamics with a growing sense of concern. Mia had always been the one Clarke relied on for candid feedback and support, and while she respected Emily's contributions, she couldn't help but worry about the potential ramifications of Clarke and Emily's burgeoning relationship. Mia's concerns were not unfounded. Rumors began to circulate within QuantumCore, fueled by the duo's visible closeness and their secluded work on Project Genesis. in a company where innovation was as much a product of collaboration as competition. The perception of favoritism or secretive alliances could disrupt the delicate equilibrium of the workplace. One afternoon, Mia decided to address the issue directly. She found Clarke in his office, staring thoughtfully at a data model on his screen. "Clarke, can I speak with you about something sensitive?" she asked, her tone serious. Clarke turned to her, instantly alert. "Of course, Mia. What's on your mind?" "It's about you and Emily," Mia said, choosing her words with care. "People are talking, and it's not just idle gossip. There's a concern about how your relationship could affect the team, especially with Project Genesis being so critical." Clarke felt a twinge of defensiveness, but recognized the validity of Mia's concern. He had been so focused on the project and the genuine connection he felt with Emily that he had neglected to consider the broader implications. "You're right, Mia. I've let the boundaries blur more than I should have. It's something I need to address," Clarke conceded, the weight of his responsibilities settling back onto his shoulders. The conversation with Mia was a sobering reminder of the complexities inherent in leadership, of the need to balance personal connections with professional obligations, and the importance of maintaining transparency and trust within the team. In the days that followed, Clarke took steps to recalibrate his relationship with Emily, emphasizing the professional nature of their work and ensuring their interactions were within the more public, collaborative spaces of QuantumCore. Emily, for her part, sensed the shift and, though initially confused, came to understand the reasons behind it. Clarke reflected on the challenges of leadership, the importance of safeguarding the team's cohesion, and the personal sacrifices often required to navigate the path of integrity. Despite the unspoken tensions and the adjustments made, the commitment to Project Genesis remained unwavering, a testament to the resilience and dedication of QuantumCore's team. Chapter 5. The atmosphere at QuantumCore was charged with anticipation as Project Genesis neared a critical phase. The team worked tirelessly, often stretching into the late hours of the evening, driven by a collective determination to achieve a breakthrough that could redefine the future of artificial intelligence. One such evening found Clarke and Emily alone in the office, their focus unwavering as they tackled the last set of challenges before them. The clock ticked past midnight, a silent witness to their dedication. As they finally called it a night, a heavy silence settled between them, a stark contrast to the fervent pace of their recent interactions. They found themselves alone in the elevator, descending from the secluded confines of the R&D department. The tension that had been building over the past few weeks, exacerbated by their conscious efforts to maintain a professional distance, hovered in the air, thick and unspoken. Clarke, leaning against the elevator wall, broke the silence. "You didn't have to stay this late, Emily. Your dedication to the project is remarkable." Emily, standing opposite him, offered a tired but genuine smile. "I could say the same to you. Besides, I believe in what we're doing here. It matters." The elevator hummed softly as it continued its descent, the numbers on the panel slowly ticking down. Emily, in a moment of levity, teased, "So, is it the secret project keeping you up at night? Or have you been sneaking around with the intern?" Her words, meant in jest, carried an undercurrent of their recent awkwardness. Clarke's response was a soft chuckle, acknowledging the joke and the truth they were both skirting around. But then, the elevator jerked unexpectedly, a brief interruption in its smooth journey, and in that suspended moment, their laughter faded, leaving an uncharacteristic silence. Emily turned to Clarke, seeking to bridge the silence with small talk. "So, how's the project going?" she asked, her curiosity genuine but casual, an attempt to peer into the world Clarke often kept shrouded in the intense focus of his leadership. Clarke, caught between the confidentiality of Project Genesis and the simplicity of the moment, responded with a playful deflect. "Why, Emily, are you asking on behalf of Russian intelligence?" His tone was light, a hint of amusement in his eyes, teasing the boundaries of their professional relationship. Emily, quick to the banter, leaned into the joke with a provocative tilt of her head. Well, if I were a sexy Russian spy, I wouldn't be very good at my job if I disclosed that, would I? Her words, playful and daring, hung between them, charged with a flirtatious energy that was uncharacteristic of their usual exchanges. Caught off guard by her response, Clarke felt a warmth spread across his cheeks, his usual composure momentarily disrupted by a blush. The elevator's quiet hum seemed to amplify in the background, a witness to the shift in their dynamic. Emily's comment, though made in jest, had unveiled a different facet of their interaction, one that tread lightly on the line between camaraderie and something more, leaving a lingering tension as the elevator continued its descent. In the quiet that followed, Clarke met Emily's gaze, and for a heartbeat, the world outside their immediate surroundings seemed to fall away. The air between them was charged with an intensity that neither could deny nor completely understand. It was a moment of vulnerability, a lapse in the carefully maintained boundaries that had governed their interactions. Caught in the moment, Clarke turned to Emily, his intentions to bridge the gap between them clear. Yet, as he leaned in, a flicker of hesitation halted his advance, a silent acknowledgement of the professional boundaries that their roles demanded they respect. It was Emily who, in a heartbeat, decided to cross the threshold. Moved by a mixture of affection, admiration, and the spontaneity of the moment, she leaned in, closing the distance. Suddenly, the elevator doors slid open, and Clarke, Emily, and Mia found themselves ensnared in an unanticipated and awkward confrontation. Mia, her expression a mix of shock and confusion, barely masked her surprise. "Oh, I didn't expect anyone else to be here so late," she stammered, her eyes darting between Clarke and Emily, picking up on the subtle cues of their recent proximity. Clarke cleared his throat, stepping out first in an attempt to diffuse the tension. "Mia, we were just wrapping up some things. What brings you back at this hour?" "I forgot to..." Mia struggled, her voice tight with discomfort. "Okay, I admit. I forgot to do some patches today. Was hoping to sneak in and get it done before anyone noticed tomorrow morning." She added the last word, almost as an afterthought, her gaze lingering on Emily for a moment longer than necessary. Emily, feeling the weight of Mia's suspicion, offered a forced smile. "Yeah, long night, but, the project waits for no one." Her attempt at lightheartedness fell flat in the charged atmosphere. Mia nodded, her lips pressing into a thin line. "Right. Well, I should get to those servers." The words felt hollow, an inadequate veil over the questions clearly brewing in her mind. The three of them stood there for a moment longer, the air thick with unspoken thoughts and questions. Finally, Clarke broke the silence. "We'll leave you to it then. Good night, Mia." "Good night," Mia echoed, her voice barely above a whisper, as Clarke and Emily made their way out of the building, leaving behind a silence that spoke volumes. The exchange, brief and fraught with discomfort, left an indelible mark on the evening, a palpable reminder of the complexities that lay hidden beneath the surface of their professional lives. As they parted ways, the atmosphere was laden with an unspoken acknowledgement of the complexity of the situation they found themselves in. Mia, troubled by what she had witnessed and its potential implications, retreated into the depths of the building. Clarke and Emily, their brief moment of shared vulnerability, now shadowed by the realization of its consequences, stepped out into the cool embrace of the night, each lost in contemplation of the delicate balance between personal connection and professional responsibility. Chapter 6. The morning after the elevator incident, QuantumCore's office was a crucible of unspoken tensions and wary glances. Clarke Reed, caught between the responsibilities of leadership and the complexities of his personal feelings, found himself navigating a precarious path. Emily Stone, now acutely aware of the delicate balance she must maintain, approached her work with a newfound caution, her interactions measured, and her focus unwavering. The tension was palpable, not just between Clarke and Emily, but within the wider orbit of their colleagues. None felt this more keenly than Mia Chen, Clarke's assistant, whose unexpected encounter the night before had sown seeds of concern. The dynamic within the team, once marked by seamless collaboration and mutual respect, now seemed tinged with uncertainty. In the confines of his office, Mia's disquiet led her to seek a private conversation with Clarke. "I need to talk to you about Emily," she began, her tone serious, signaling the gravity of the conversation to follow. Clarke, anticipating a discussion about professional boundaries and possibly reprimands for the perceived lapse in judgment, responded with a weary, "I know, Mia." But Mia pressed on, insisting, "No, please listen." Her words, laden with urgency and a depth of concern that went beyond mere professional propriety, left Clarke with a sense of foreboding. As Mia left his office, he sat still in his chair, the gravity of her words weighing heavily on his mind. The day wore on, each hour marked by a tension that seemed to tighten around them. Clarke, feeling the weight of his decisions, left work with a sense of sobriety, the events of the past 24 hours casting a long shadow over his thoughts. In an attempt to address the situation directly and with a degree of privacy that the office could not afford, Clarke messaged Emily, requesting a meeting away from the prying eyes of their colleagues. They agreed to meet at a quiet restaurant on the other side of town, a neutral ground where they could speak freely. The dinner was a careful dance of words and silences as they navigated the conversation around professional boundaries and the implications of their actions. Emily, with a vulnerability that belied her usual composure, expressed her romantic feelings for Clarke, acknowledging the deep connection that had formed between them. Clarke, in turn, admitted to the struggle within him, the conflict between his personal desires and the responsibilities he bore as a leader. As Clarke and Emily stood in the dimly lit parking lot after dinner, the tension between them palpable, Clarke's phone shattered the moment with its urgent ring. Emily watched, a mix of confusion and concern etching her features, as Clarke's expression shifted from personal to professional in an instant. "Hello, Mia. Talk to me," Clarke answered, his voice carrying a blend of urgency and command that Emily had come to associate with his leadership at QuantumCore. Mia's voice, though not audible to Emily, was clearly delivering news of significant gravity, judging by Clarke's rapidly darkening expression. "A meltdown with the Core Gen processor? Are you certain?" He paused, listening intently to Mia's response. Emily could only watch, her earlier confession hanging unresolved between them. Without missing a beat, Clarke sprang into action. "Okay, here's what we're going to do." He spoke into the phone, his tone decisive, embodying the very essence of responsibility that defined his role. "First, I need you to contact the marketing team immediately. We're pulling the plug on CoreGen, cancel all orders and halt any pending shipments. I don't want any more of their processors coming through our doors until we've got this sorted." Emily, still standing close, could sense the shift in Clarke, the way he balanced the edge of crisis with a calm clarity. "And get me a line to procurement. We're doubling down on Nextech. I want every available unit they can spare shipped to our lab first thing in the morning. We can't afford any delays on Genesis, not now." As he listened to Mia's assurances that she would handle the directives, Clarke's gaze met Emily's, a silent apology in his eyes for the abrupt end to their personal moment. "I have to go," he said, a regretful undertone in his voice. "This can't wait. We'll talk later, I promise." "Is there anything I can help with?" Emily offered, her concern evident in her voice. "Thanks, Emily, but I made this mess. Now I have to clean it up," Clarke said as he hurriedly excused himself, leaving Emily in the parking lot, the cold night air enveloping her as she processed the sudden departure. Chapter 7. As Clarke Reed walked through the doors of QuantumCore, the atmosphere felt markedly different. The usual buzz of collaborative energy was overshadowed by a palpable tension, with sidelong glances and hushed whispers marking his path. The sense of unease deepened when he was promptly summoned to a meeting that would unearth the undercurrents of discomfort he had been sensing all morning. Upon entering the conference room, Clarke was met with a somber assembly. Sharon, the head of human resources, sat across from Emily Stone, whose expression was a blend of determination and unease. The sight of Emily, not as an eager team member, but as a complainant, sent a chill down Clarke's spine. To his further dismay, Mia Chen was also present, her usual composure supplanted by a visibly discomfort at the role she was about to play. Sharon wasted no time in addressing the reason for the meeting. "Clarke, a complaint has been filed against you by Emily regarding an incident of sexual harassment. We are here to discuss the complaint and gather information from all parties involved." Clarke's mind reeled. The elevator incident, a moment he had believed to be a minor lapse in judgment, had escalated into an accusation that threatened to upend his career. He turned to Emily, seeking some explanation in her eyes, but found none that could ease the growing turmoil within him. "I've always conducted myself professionally," Clarke stated, his voice steady despite the turmoil swirling inside him. The incident in question was an unfortunate misunderstanding, nothing more. Emily's response was measured, but firm. "The elevator incident made me uncomfortable," she said. "It crossed a line, and I felt it was important to bring it to HR's attention." It was then Mia's turn to contribute, her testimony crucial to the unfolding narrative. "When I saw Clarke and Emily after the elevator ride, they appeared to be uncomfortably close," Mia recounted, her voice betraying her reluctance. "But I didn't actually witness anything specific. It was the body language, the atmosphere. It was hard to define." The room fell into a heavy silence as Sharon considered the testimonies. "Given the seriousness of the allegations and the evidence presented, I have no choice but to place you on administrative leave, Clarke, pending the outcome of our investigation," she announced, her tone indicating the decision was not made lightly. Clarke, feeling the walls closing in on him, made a final plea. "Sharon, I need you to trust me," he implored, his gaze intense. "I know what I'm doing. This has been a misunderstanding that I believe we can clarify with a thorough investigation." Sharon nodded, acknowledging his plea, but her response was unwavering. "I understand, Clarke, but we must follow protocol to ensure fairness and transparency. You are on administrative leave effective immediately until the investigation is concluded." As the meeting adjourned, Clarke left the room enveloped in a cloud of disbelief and concern. The stakes were higher than he had ever imagined, and the path to clearing his name seemed fraught with challenges. His career, reputation, and the very fabric of his professional relationships at QuantumCore were now hanging in the balance, awaiting the outcome of an investigation that had turned his world upside down. Chapter 8. In the quiet aftermath of the storm that had swept through QuantumCore, Clarke Reed found himself in a liminal space, caught between accusation and vindication. The weight of Emily's allegations and his subsequent administrative leave had cast a long shadow over his reputation and his future at the company. Determined to clear his name and uncover the truth, Clarke sought out Mia Chen, his trusted assistant, and the person who had been his staunchest ally through the unfolding crisis. "Do we have everything we need?" Clarke asked Mia, his voice steady but underscored with urgency. They were in a small coffee shop, a neutral ground away from the prying eyes and whispered speculations of their colleagues. "Yes," Mia confirmed, her response firm and reassuring. "I've gone through everything once again. We're ready." Encouraged by Mia's confidence, Clarke took a deep breath, steadying himself for the next step. "Go ahead and set up a meeting with company management. It's time I properly defend my case," he instructed, the resolve in his voice leaving no room for doubt. "And I want Emily to be there." Mia nodded, understanding the importance of the request. The meeting was not just about clearing Clarke's name. It was about exposing the truth that had remained hidden beneath layers of deception. When the day of the meeting arrived, Clarke and Mia entered the conference room with a sense of purpose. The management team was already assembled, their expressions somber, reflecting the gravity of the situation. However, before Clarke could present his defense, the room was abuzz with news that their competitor, Neurotech, had suffered a significant blow. Stocks plummeted following widespread meltdowns caused by their newly acquired core-gen technologies processors. In this tumult of revelations, Clarke noticed Emily's absence. Sharon, QuantumCore's HR manager, informed him that Emily had offered to leave the company, waiving any legal action in return for a settlement. The news struck Clarke with a mix of shock and vindication. Seizing the moment, Clarke revealed the truth behind the months of tension and intrigue. Emily was a corporate spy, he stated, his voice resonant with the weight of the evidence they had gathered. Mia took a step forward, drawing the room's attention as she prepared to share her account. "Let me explain what actually happened that night," she began, her tone firm, signaling the importance of her testimony. "I wasn't back at the office by coincidence. I started receiving alerts about suspicious access attempts to our classified documents, the ones detailing our processor performance tests." She paused for a moment, allowing her words to sink in before she continued. "These alerts, they were the reason I decided to head back unexpectedly. I needed to understand what was at risk and secure our information." Mia's eyes swept across the room, ensuring she had everyone's undivided attention. "And that's when I walked in, right when Clarke and Emily were by the elevator. It wasn't just a casual encounter. I was there because of the security breach notifications." Mia recounted how she and Clarke had met to discuss her suspicions regarding Emily's interest in the core-gen processor. Together, they had devised a plan to test their theory, intentionally misleading her with falsified information about their processor preference. Emily, in turn, had informed Neurotech, leading them to gamble on the Nextech processor, a move that had backfired spectacularly. The management team listened in stunned silence as Mia unveiled the depth of their investigation and the strategic misdirection that had ultimately protected QuantumCore's interests. The revelation that Emily had been working for their competitors all along, and the role Clarke and Mia had played in uncovering her deceit, shifted the narrative entirely. In the wake of this disclosure, the atmosphere in the room transformed from one of suspicion to one of respect and admiration for Clarke and Mia's foresight and loyalty to QuantumCore. The management team, now fully apprised of the situation, commended Clarke for his actions, acknowledging the complexity and the risks he had navigated to safeguard the company's future. As the meeting concluded, Clarke was officially invited back to work, his position and reputation within the company restored. The ordeal had been a testament to his leadership, integrity, and the unshakable bond he shared with Mia, a bond that had weathered the storm and emerged stronger. Clarke stepping back into his role, not just as a leader, but as a guardian of QuantumCore's vision. The experience had been a crucible, refining his understanding of trust, loyalty, and the ever-present shadows of corporate espionage. Chapter 9. Back within the familiar confines of QuantumCore, Clarke Reed felt a profound sense of relief and determination. The storm of accusations and the cloud of suspicion that had once loomed over him were now dispelled, leaving behind a clearer sky and a path forward. Project Genesis, the ambitious endeavor that had been momentarily overshadowed by corporate espionage and personal turmoil, was once again at the forefront of his focus. As the launch date for Project Genesis approached, Clarke felt a renewed sense of purpose. The project was more than just a technological breakthrough. It was a symbol of resilience, a testament to what could be achieved when integrity and dedication led the way. Before immersing himself in the final preparations, Clarke made his way to Mia Chen's office. The door was ajar, and he found her amidst a flurry of paperwork, her concentration unbroken by the buzz of activity outside her office. "Mia," Clarke began, capturing her attention, "I just wanted to say thank you for everything. Your faith and support have been unwavering, and I couldn't have navigated these past weeks without you." Mia looked up, her usual composure softened by the sincerity in Clarke's words. "It's what partners do, Clarke. We look out for each other, but I'm glad it's over, and we can focus on what we do best." Their exchange was brief, but laden with mutual respect and a deep-seated trust forged through adversity. As Clarke left Mia's office, he felt an immense gratitude for the loyalty and strength she had shown, qualities that were the true backbone of QuantumCore. The day wound down, and as Clarke prepared to leave work, he was confronted by an unexpected figure in the parking lot, Emily Stone. Her presence was a stark reminder of the tumultuous events that had transpired, yet Clarke faced her with a composure born of his vindication. Emily, with a tone that carried a mix of defiance and resignation, admitted to underestimating him. "I tried to destroy you because you were crucial to the project's success. I thought if I could take you down, the rest would follow," she confessed, her words echoing in the empty parking lot. Clarke, listening to Emily's admission, felt a mixture of pity and resolve. "Well, Emily, let me give you a piece of advice," he said, his voice laced with a hint of sarcasm. "Don't quit your day job. You'd make a terrible Russian spy." With those final words, Clarke turned away from Emily and the shadowy chapter of his life she represented. He walked to his car, the weight of the past few weeks lifting with each step. The ordeal had tested him in ways he had never anticipated, but it had also reaffirmed his values and the importance of standing firm in the face of deception and betrayal. As he drove away, Clarke Reed was not just a man vindicated. He was a leader ready to steer Project Genesis to its much-anticipated launch. The road ahead was clear, and QuantumCore, under his guidance, was poised to usher in a new era of innovation and integrity. Clarke at the helm united the team with trust and a shared vision. The challenges they had faced were now behind them, leaving a stronger, more resilient QuantumCore ready to face the future.
If you like this audiobook, please like and subscribe and leave a comment.